Oh, you punched me. Oh man, you're too strong. Don't be punching me.
So I'm here at the 2016
I gotta go. You just punched me in the shoulder.
IJA
Oh my God,
Festival
he's so strong.
with Dan Holzman
Yeah,
of the
go.
Raspyni Brothers, and
No,
I gotta say,
it's not Raspyni. It's Raspyni. It's Raspyni.
Raspyni.
Oh, it's Raspyni. You're right.
I gotta say, man, I'm a huge fan, and I've always wanted to ask,
Okay.
what got you into juggling?
Well, I always liked showbiz and entertaining and movies, and I used to read like Movie Monster magazine, and so I always liked show business, especially Jimmy Cagney and Humphrey Bogart, and like the people I'd watch on TV. So, and I tried to get into magic, but I thought magic you had to show people, right? Like you'd show someone once, they'd be like, "Can I show you again?" Like, no, it's all right. And I played music, I took piano, I took act. I was a child actor. You know, I did 11 years old. I did some movies and stuff. But then juggling came, and I saw it was 1974. It was the Juggling book by Carlo came out, and I got that book, and I immediately went in the backyard, got some oranges. We had orange trees. I realized that the green oranges last longer; they don't break open as quick. So I just started juggling in my backyard, and I thought, oh, I don't need anybody to do this with. I can just do it by myself, and it's fun. And from that day on, I was pretty hooked.
So you learned how to juggle with oranges?
Yeah, by myself from the Juggling book by Carlo. I didn't see another juggler for like probably 3 or 4 years.
And you just right then?
Yeah, I make up all my own tricks. You know, a few of the basics, but I'd be like, why can't you do this? And so I started really developing this unique style.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. There was no internet. There was no, you know. And the first juggler I saw a guy on TV. His name was Bobby Sandler, and he juggled 3 balls, and he rolled a ball off his head, and he ate apples because he was sponsored by the Apple growers.
Cool.
And I saw that, and I thought, oh, I could do those tricks. I learned those tricks. But then I saw in the TV guide, it said Chris Cremo juggler. And I'm like, oh, Chris Cremo, all right. So I circled it in the thing. It was like Thursday. It was like Monday. So Monday goes, Tuesday goes, Wednesday goes, Thursday. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably as good as this guy. You know what I mean? Chris Cremo comes on, I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, that's professional juggling. And so that was a good eye-opener. And
how old were you at the time?
It's probably a few years later, 17, 16. I don't think I was working at it. My first job was at 17 at an amusement park for three months, Magic Mountain. So it was probably before that.
Magic Mountain.
So I was probably like 15, because like I said, I didn't see another juggler, but I saw him on TV a couple years after I started. But nothing was really helpful. I mean, I didn't have cigar boxes. I didn't know. But he had some 3-ball stuff, and I tried to learn some of those things, but I couldn't. Like the jumping under the legs, I'm like, shit, this guy's athletic too. So
later down the road, future,
yes.
You see Barry Friedman. You guys create the Raspyni Brothers. What happened there? Like, how did that form?
So we're all friends. Me, Mike Boyer, and Barry Friedman. We all start going to Valley College and hanging out, and they have an act together called Up in the Air Juggling Club. I think that's what it's called. And so we did one show together. We did kind of a Renaissance dinner. But we were all buddies and friends. I started doing some solo stuff, and then Barry had this opportunity to go to Chicago and do a Renaissance fair. No pay, nothing. Just, do you want to drive cross country to do a 6-week fair? You know, no money, but we could pass the hat. I'm like, at the time I'm a cook, cooking hamburgers, you know. I'm not a full-time juggler. So I'm like, all right. And I just thought it would be for one summer. So I thought, well, I'm not going to break up the team, but Mike didn't want to go. Barry wanted to go, Mike didn't want to go. His partner didn't want to go. He had a fiance. He came from maybe a little more affluent family than Barry and I. Even though my family was okay, but it was every man for himself at that time. So I was like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. So we drove to Chicago, from LA to Chicago, and kind of put an act together on the way. And I'd been reading 4,000 Years of Juggling, and there was a juggler named Eduardo Raspyni. And we used to have a saying that the good juggler was raspy, or that's a hard trick, it's a raspy trick. So when I saw Raspyni, I thought, oh, that's a funny name. He has to be the raspiest juggler of them all. So we changed the spelling. That was R-A-S-P-I-N-I. We changed it to R-A-S-P-Y-N-I. And so that was just be for one show. But then that turned out to be 3. We actually did that fair. So, oh, you should come down to Minnesota.
Yeah, that one's huge.
Then, oh, you should come down. If you're going to do that, you might as well do Texas.
Oh, wow.
So we did that circuit. We did Minnesota.
And you call yourselves Raspyni Brothers from then
Yeah,
on?
for the first show we did. Yeah, wow. The first day. Yeah.
And I remember seeing, was it Johnny Carson?
Yeah, we did twice on Johnny Carson, and then doing our like a set, you know, like a bit, 8 minutes or something, 7 or 8 minutes. And then we did a skit with Jay Leno where we passed torches around him. And then I got on as a solo doing one of those Meal or No Meal segments.
What was that like? I mean, what was it like just going backstage and just before you went on stage? Oh man.
Which one, the first one? Or?
Yeah, Johnny Carson.
Well, there were some good things about it. One thing was I wasn't a late night guy, so I never really stayed up to watch Johnny Carson. So I really wasn't like, you know, Johnny Carson. Even though I'd seen like, I think, Michael Davis on or air jazz on. So I knew
Yeah.
he had jugglers. So I'd watch when he had a juggler on. But I wasn't really like, you know, oh, the Tonight Show. I wanted to be on Circus of the Stars.
Oh, cool.
And I wanted to be in the Guinness Book of World Records and on Circus of the Stars. So the Johnny Carson thing really wasn't on my radar. So when it came about, I'm like, all right. And I remember we were backstage because we were doing a show at the Variety Arts Theater in Los Angeles. That's where Jim McCauley, who was the talent booker, saw us and booked us. And we got there, and we were up first, which is crazy. You know, 'cause usually you have a big celebrity up first. And I remember being backstage, and there was a fella who was the curtain puller on the Carson Show for like 30 years.
Wow.
African-American gentleman. There's actually a podcast called the Carson Podcast. You ever see that? Carson Podcast? It's all about the Johnny Carson Show and people who worked on it. So he's one of the guys interviewed, because he was backstage for 30 years or whatever. Every celebrity, he'd be the guy backstage.
Yeah, pulling that curtain.
Yeah.
I've seen it. These
Paging
guys
the
are
curtain. No, he just paged it. He just
Oh,
paged
just
it
paged
out.
it? Okay.
Yeah. And I remember him
He had to
saying,
be on top of it, all those cues.
yeah, he was cool. I forget his name, but he's a pretty well-known guy from that. I think his cousin was like Gene the dancing machine on the Gong Show.
Great name.
Yeah. But I remember we were there, we were fooling around, kidding around, and all of a sudden as it gets closer, we're getting a little bit more, you know, it's like dawning on us that we're about to go out there and entertain. And he goes, "Boys, don't tighten up now." And, you know, that's kind of like, oh, it's kind of fun to hear. He goes, yeah. So we go out there, and it turned out to be a spring break crowd. And like the first joke got a good laugh, and all of a sudden it was just like, but we were really green. That was like our first TV show. So we made a couple bonehead mistakes, and my partner wore suspenders, so he'd never worn suspenders before. So if you watch the show, you'll see the suspender starts to fall down his arm, and he starts to try to shrug it up. He tries to throw like a double and shrug it back onto his shoulder, and it kind of had a bad drop because he was trying to shove it back up. But turned out good, and they invited us back for a second appearance.
I would say, if you had somebody watching this that wants to do TV someday, what's your advice of juggling on TV or performing on TV?
Well, you gotta look at America's Got Talent, because that's like the big 800-pound gorilla. That's the show that's the best show to get on right now. I would say, you know, obviously, you gotta, if you're talking about yourself.
I'm talking about in general, just in anybody who's wanting to aspire being a performer on stage. Do you look at it as, wow, TV is a lot faster than live, that's for sure.
Well, but now look how diffused it is. I mean, you can be on, like they had, I forget his name, the Russian drunk juggler. He was a Kublikov, Alexander Kublikov? I think it's Alexander Kublikov. He does like the thing with the sailor suit.
Yes.
He was on John Colbert, whatever.
No,
that
he
show
was on
is.
the Jimmy.
Not Jimmy Kimmel. I think it was Steve Colbert.
Was it Steve Colbert?
I think so. Yeah, Steve Colbert.
Yeah, Steve Colbert. You're right.
You know, great spot.
Yep.
But no one's gonna remember that next day. I mean, it looked good on his reel.
So tell me this.
Yeah.
What made you decide, okay, I want to be a partner, I'm going to go ahead, do the Renaissance, and just start doing this full time, being a professional juggler?
Well, I mean, it just crept up on me. Like what we used to do, like the summers, then I'd come back in the winter and go back to school. I thought at first, like I say, he'd just team up back with his partner, but they had a falling out. So the first 3 summers, it was just summers, and by the third summer, I remember me and Barry, we were at the Renaissance Fair in Texas, and it had rained a lot that year. And the Renaissance Fair is basically mud and hay, so it stunk and it was all muddy, and we're sitting by these hay bales, and we're going like, look, if we're gonna do this full time, we have to get indoors, we have to start doing review shows, because that's what people were doing. So we got an agent, and it turned out she was crazy. Literally crazy. She got committed. Literally got locked up in the nutty bin.
But I think that's what you need. You need a crazy agent to
she
book
was
you, right?
insane. She's literally insane. She got locked up. But she had booked like Barrett Felker and Dick Franco. And we didn't talk to those people, but we saw her name associated with these people. Nino
The
Fradiani.
Gizmo guys and all them.
No, not the Gizmo guys.
You said Barry Felker?
Barrett Felker. This was before he was a Gizmo guy.
Oh, okay.
He used to do a tour with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, cool.
He originally was with Keziah Tannenbaum and
wow.
Peter Davison.
Oh, wow.
Before Air Jazz. They were the Magnificent Material Movers.
Cool.
And then John Held took Barrett's place and then became Air Jazz.
So tell me this: where do you see the juggling is going now, with the way it was back in the day?
You
guys had marquees, and you guys had shows that you guys did.
Yeah,
First
Caesar's
off,
Palace.
I have one awesome question to
Sure.
ask you: how does someone like you come with somewhat unique tricks? You know, things you guys did, no one really does. And
it's all about
you just
creative
wake
thought.
up one day and
no,
it's like,
I have a whole technique. It's all about creative thought. It's all about this idea of creativity and original thought. You have to look at the juggling as a template. The skill is a template for you to express yourself creatively through. So let's say like you juggle 7 balls. That's not a creative feat at all. There's nothing creative. It's a physical feat. You might be creative in the way you learn it, but the feat itself has no creative component. It's just a purely technical feat. So like I do a trick tonight. I'll do a trick tonight with these bowls, these spinning bowls. You seen that one?
Nope.
Okay, so all right. So here's a good. So there's two. If you look at creativity, there's 2 types of creativity. There's organic creativity and inorganic creativity. Now, organic creativity is that bolt from the blue. Is that thing that just hits you. You have no idea why. Boom! Like you don't know what you're thinking about. It just comes to you.
Yeah.
That's rare. Most things are inorganic creativity. So look at this trick, this bowl spinning trick. Okay, so I start seeing a lot of people spinning balls on a volunteer's finger, or sometimes they have a hat and they spin a ball on each point, right? And at first I see one guy do it. I'm like, okay, that's his bit or something. But by the time I see 4 or 5 guys doing it, I say to myself, okay, why are they all doing it the same? Why are they so, like, I don't want to say brain dead or uncreative, that they see something and they go, okay, I'm gonna do it exactly the way I see it. That's pretty bogus. So I'm like, all right. I always say, what else could those objects be? Because there's a certain realistic thing that they could be, that they have to spin, right? So they can't be of a shape that's not gonna spin, they have to be something else. And so I'm like, well, okay, what else, how would I add some more thrill to it? Or how could it be fragile? Or how could it be dangerous? Or how could it be something unusual other than balls? I mean, I think that you could at least start with the balls being different things. Like maybe they could be different planets. Or you have something where one's red, one's blue, one green, and you're gonna put together a little poem or something, something about the trick itself can be original, even if the trick isn't original.
Right.
By bringing in a premise or making the prop represent something.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, okay, I wanted to use bowls, clear plastic bowls, because I wanted to put balls inside the bowls. So now I spin the bowl and I put balls inside the bowl. So now the balls spin inside the bowl. So it has a whole different effect. It's got a whole different, but the same skill of spinning a ball on your finger is the same. So I took that skill of being able to spin a ball on my finger. That was my template. And I said, okay, what's the most creative use I can have of that skill? And that's what I came up with.
Cool. Yeah. And do you feel like that you've had this thought process for many of your years of performing?
Sure.
When maybe Barry's creates an idea, hey, let's try this.
Barry doesn't create the idea. Barry's a good business guy. He'll be the first to admit he didn't really. That I was.
There you go, from Dan's mouth. Okay.
Well, we both know. I give him a lot of credit for the being able to get us good money.
But he's got a lot of cool balancing things that he throws and.
Yeah, he did the carrot box,
Right?
but the carrot box is a standard trick that's from the, but he made a carrot box, but as far as like Barry making up,
you did the golf club thing,
yes.
Right? So a lot of times, do you feel like you just always want to be unique than what's going on, or you also want to try something with one prop? How can we, like if we have this hat,
there's
how can we make this
reasons.
hat different than just being, I'm just a juggler?
Well, there's several reasons if you look at it. First of all, you want to be the best. And if you're doing something no one else is doing, well then you can be the best. If you're doing clubs, and and you want to audition for something, and there's, let's say you want to be in a show like this, and there's already 50 club acts. Like, look, you better be better than the other guys. You better have something special. But if you do like something like shaker cups, so I looked at like shaker cups, cigar boxes, devil sticks. I was just drawn to the things that people. When I saw so many people doing Diablo, I'm like, we got enough people doing Diablo. And I didn't like the whipping. I didn't like having to start it up every time. You got to start from a slow. If it falls, you got to get it back up to speed. I didn't like that.
How about comedy? Where did you come up with ideas for just working on new things?
Well, I mean, comedy is different.
What's a great thing that if you had someone watching this,
Yeah.
how would they practice comedy?
Well, okay. What you do is, as you're going through the world, right, you're looking for comic potential. You're searching for comic potential. Right? That's like, let's say you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur searches for business opportunities. A comedian, whether it's a stand-up, a lot of their mind is focused on looking for comic potential. Like they'll read something or see something, or they'll hear a turn of phrase. Oh, there's something funny about that. There's something funny there. So you start with comic potential, and then the idea is, now that I have that potential, how do I find the perfect expression of that potential? Like if I have an idea for a joke, like let's say I was thinking of a joke. I was thinking of a joke the other day, like something about I take off on Black Lives Matter. But part of me didn't want it to be too offensive. Because it's an issue that I'm
It's a current issue.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
I'm sensitive to it. You know, I thought some joke like something about, I had a joke about a psychic comedians convention where I'm going to go there next week, and boy, are my arms going to be tired. You know, which is, so I take off on a hacky joke. So I put like Hack Lives Matter. You know, so I was thinking the other day, I thought, well, what other takeoffs on that Black Lives Matter could you have? So I thought something about, no, folks, when you're doing a party and you want things to glow, don't forget, Black Lives Matter. You know, so that was that idea that black light. So I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Then the idea was, how do I take that potential and put it in joke form?
Right.
Because writing jokes has a certain form and certain skills, things you learn. Like you don't repeat words necessarily in the setup and the punchline unless you want to parallel them. You know what I mean? Unless you want to parallel and have the same kind of phrase in both. So it's intentional. But normally you don't use the same word. Like if I want to do a joke like, this trick took me 10 years to perfect. It's not that difficult. I just don't like to practice that much. I wouldn't say like, I've been practicing this trick for 10 years. It's not that difficult. I just don't like to practice that much. See how that sounds off? So you don't want to use so there's certain things. You want to make sure that the information is close to the punchline. You want to end. Right. So there's a skills to comedy writing. But first you have to be able to identify comic potential. It's like a baseball player. First you have to be able to tell the balls from the strikes. Then you have to start making contact. Like you kind of like, oh, that's kind of it. Then eventually you want to start hitting home runs where the jokes are big, you know.
And you feel that you're, as a comedy juggler, how hard is it to put both together?
Well,
I would say
it depends who you are.
Depending on your skill level of what kind of, if you want to go for a unique prop that you said,
right.
oh, I'm going to do a golf club and do this.
Yeah.
Now, putting the comedy into that, do you just look at the prop and say, okay,
depends who you are.
How many?
I mean, that's hard to say because
I was always
interested in comedy. I was always interested in comedy, even before juggling. I liked Woody Allen, Robert Klein, Cheech and Chong. So I was into comedy before I was into juggling. I wanted to be a writer and an actor. And then when the juggling came along, I'd already had the skill set of comedy to some degree, and also acting. So when we went to the Renaissance here, I was already kind of like, lords and ladies, gather round. So I already had some chops, some performing chops. So, but some guys, they come to me, you know, as soon as I do coaching, and I'm just like, you're bringing what you got to the field. Like you got a good look, you got charisma, you know, you're bringing that to the deal. I can't teach you to have that, you just have that. And when I started, I was so kooky. My mom had made me these pants, and they were like pajama bottoms almost. They're like these striped drawstring clown pants almost. I remember one of my first tricks was I could spin a couch pillow in each hand.
Oh, cool!
Right?
All right.
And so what I would do is I would lay a bandana over my eyes. I call them like new wave sunglasses, and then I would spin a pillow with each hand. That was one of my tricks. But I don't think it lasted very long because they weren't big pillows, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try that a couple times.
What's some of your favorite tricks you love doing? You have
Now,
so many
routines or
unique.
tricks?
Well, let's say routines first. I mean, you have so many cool ideas when you come on the stage. The golf ball to the juggling elephants. What do you like the most?
Well, I like the paddleball routine because sometimes it really gets a lot of laughs. Like sometimes I'm getting laughs. When I do that routine, sometimes it really just gets that rolling 3 or 4 minutes of solid laughter. So I like that because that's effective.
Getting the ball out of the cigar out of the mouth, right?
That could sometimes, not always, but usually it does well. But sometimes this thing just kills, and it's just like solid, you know. And that's hard to have a routine with that much laughter. People are just falling out of their seats, and so that's a good one. Yeah.
What do you feel is like your favorite prop that you enjoy doing the most?
Well,
I know you like the paddle ball, but
well, I like the volcano ball because I invented it, and so every trick that I do with it is something.
What's the volcano ball? Is that the one with the bowls, or?
No, that's a prop I invented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So every trick that I do with that, not only did I invent the prop, but every trick I do with the prop came from my mind.
Cool.
So there was no volcano ball tricks to learn. I had to make them all up. So I like tennis ball and can. I was like the third person to ever do it. There was Scott Slesnick did like 2 balls in a can, and then Dan Bennett. And we saw a little clip of Dan Bennett, like maybe 30 seconds, doing some tricks. And then me and this guy Tim Kelly, we got cans, and I just made up so many tricks that people do today.
Yeah.
That I can look at and go. There's one guy, this guy Rene Albert, I think was his name in Europe, because I taught Tim this sequence of 10 sequences, and Matt Hall I taught as well. And they went to Europe and they taught over there. And some people took those sequences and kind of did that. A lot of those routines together. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
recognize that.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be doing that if I didn't show this guy who showed that guy who showed that guy.
Cool. I mean, you teach a lot. You teach like
Yeah.
comedy workshops and so
Yeah.
forth. When you were working with, doing the Raspyni Brothers and everything with Barry Friedman, how'd that go? How'd you like doing that on TV and so forth?
It's great. Yeah. I mean, it was showbiz. I mean, you're doing like Caesar's Palace. Your name's up on the marquee.
That's
you're
so cool.
Hanging out with celebrities. You're getting really good money.
Johnny Carson?
Yeah, I didn't hang out with Johnny Carson. I mean, we did the show. but-
That's awesome.
I mean, at the end, I remember you see him leaving. And you're like, thanks for having us on the show. Oh, you were great. We'll have you on again. Yeah, good job. And then they'll just go on in the car. Not a bad Carson. It's not bad.
Yeah.
You get in his Jaguar and drive off. But he was, but you didn't really spend any time with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you feel is this something like, if you had to give anybody advice about professional juggling and performing,
Right.
what would you say to someone that is now wanting
Well,
to be
I always,
what you do
I always
in the
say
comedy
lifestyle.
juggling?
I always say, just decide what kind of lifestyle you want to have. Like if you want to stay home and build a local business
Mm-hmm.
where you can stay in one place and maybe do whatever. You hooked up with an amusement park, or you hook up on the boardwalk, or something steady in town because you want to be home with your wife and family and you're raising kids. But if the lifestyle doesn't suit you, like let's say you're in some review show in Branson and you're hating life because you don't want to be there, you don't know anybody, and you're just bored and miserable. So maybe you're making good money, but you're bored and miserable.
Mm-hmm.
You're making money so you enjoy your life.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make the money but aren't enjoying your life, it's like a convention like this. It's like you make money so you can afford to do things you want to do.
Exactly.
So here, maybe you're spending money, but you made that money so then you could do something you wanted to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's possible in our profession to make the money, do the shows, but also have fun because you're enjoying what you're doing. I
Yep.
like a certain thing. Like I like to travel to a different
Absolutely.
place, but I like to travel with a group. If there's other performers, it's like, let's say a street festival or a comedy festival. So you go to somewhere like Dubai, but you're with, like when I went to Dubai, I think it was last year, I'm in the airport in like Philadelphia, I'm gonna fly to Dubai, right? I see this guy approach me, his name is Wacky Chad. We had just worked together in Vermont, and he's a really cool guy, real friendly. And so I'm like, hey Chad, you going to Dubai? He goes, yeah man, we're doing the same gig. So here I already have a friend who I know is gonna be there, and I meet this girl who's doing a statue act, and she's really fun to hang out with, Kate Meor. And she's, mouthy and cool, and got, a lot of energy. And I always met this guy at the last festival. I met this guy Dotto, who was totally cool. This clown, totally cool. When I was in New Zealand, I met Barry Lubin, grandmother the clown from Big Apple. Now he's a really good friend of mine. So I like to go somewhere new, and I don't really care if the job is that gritty or really that whatever, or making that much money. If I can go somewhere new, like I went to South Korea, and my friend Niels
Wow.
Dunker was there,
Yeah,
and Matt
yeah,
Baker
Niels.
was there.
Uh-huh.
And so hanging out, and it was part of the fun.
Yeah.
So I like to go somewhere I've never been, but I don't like to go alone.
Yeah.
I
You,
like
you like to enjoy life with others as well.
Well, it's not that much fun alone. I did this show in Oklahoma called the Oklahoma Arts Festival. It was like 5 days or 7 days, like 5 days. I was getting really good money.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting like $5,000 or something. I mean, it was a decent paying gig.
Cool.
But after the shows, and during the shows, I would do the show. I'd sit around and read and just hang out. But I'd go home to the hotel they got me, and nobody to hang out with. It was in some hotel in Oklahoma
And that was the
City.
lifestyle, just doing
And
that.
I'm like, this is so boring. This is so hideous. Like I said, I said to myself, how early can I go to bed? I'm so bored. It's 8 o'clock. Is it too early to go to bed? 'Cause I just wanted the day to end. So I'd much rather be home with my wife and my dogs and swimming in my pool. And I love being home now.
Yeah.
So for me, like I don't take jobs longer than 3 weeks. Like if someone offered me like a 3-month tour, unless it was just so sick, it was like, okay, so here's a 3-month gig, but it's gonna be traveling around Europe, and if it was really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I value my relationship with my wife and more than, like there was one gig
That's
where,
awesome. That's awesome.
there was these Mexican resorts, and the guy, I told the guy quite adamantly, look, I can only go for 3 weeks, 21 days, that's my limit. And then this one guy goes, oh yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, oh yeah, I'm sorry, we have to make it 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I go, can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
The next week I can't do it. 21 days, that's it. Plus, you know what's funny? That was kind of a bad gig, a shitty gig, shitty money, and some friends were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was making me jump through hoops for this gig. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna try hard for a gig I barely want.
Yeah.
You better make it easy for me. I'm not dying to do this job. But some friends are going to be there. I've never done this job. It's in a place I've never been.
So it's important to know what you want when you do certain gigs and so forth. Tell me this, connecting with the audience, what do you feel like is the best secret for you to help a performer always connect with the audience?
I think it's,
instead of just thinking of, hey, it's just another juggler.
I can answer, it's pretty easy. Never forget that you're in a conversation with the audience. It's not a one-way thing, it's a conversation. You're communicating with them, they communicate back with you with their response. They communicate with laughter, they communicate with applause, you can look on their face, they communicate by smiling. So never forget, it's a dialogue. Some guys, it's a one-way street. It's a one-way thing.
They're just going through the script.
Well, it's just a one-way thing. They're going this way. They're not listening in return, it's not really engaging in a back and forth.
Okay.
They're a one-way street where I like to be like a conversation. I like to feel like the people are relaxed enough to feel as if we're having a spontaneous thing that's happening now in this moment. It's not, there's obviously scripted jokes. The way I'm presenting it though, it seems kind of off the cuff and spontaneous because we're having a dialogue. If it feels like you're starting the tape recorder, like the startup, and then it's just like this rote script you're gonna do, and you don't really even care, you're sort of even doing the jokes sort of by like sound almost, because you've done them so many times.
Right.
They've even lost their meaning, but people still laugh because at one time it was a good joke that you delivered well. But now you've said it so many times, you even forgot why it's funny anyways. And you start losing this back and forth communication. I always say you have to connect.
Right.
And juggling is very hard because a lot of juggling revolves around you not being able to look. Like if you're a singer, you could be like looking right at these people. Like, hey, it's my way. You know, whatever song. And now the end is near, and I can face the final curtain. You know, like really, like, you know, you could be like singing, he's singing right to me.
Yep.
No one goes, he's juggling right to me. When he was juggling, I could swear he was looking right at me when he was juggling. No one ever says that. So you really have to work on maintaining connection. So every chance you have to be able to look at them, to be able, especially when you stop. The worst thing is when you hit a bow or pose, where really you could at that point totally, or like when you walk out. Even when you walk out, you have to walk out and, you know, you make this connection with the people. You look at them like, hey, how's everybody doing tonight? You don't go, oh, great, so I'm here on the thing. Hey, great to be here, everybody. And you're like, just not even like, you're not connecting. Yeah. So never forget it's a dialogue. If you understand that you're communicating with them, they're communicating back through their actions. If they're laughing and applauding, well, that's a good indication that you're doing well.
Awesome.
If they're kind of like fidgety and they're like, look bored, you better be aware of that. You kind of go like, oh, I'm losing them. You have to feel what the audience is feeling. Oh God, they're, you know, I'm losing them, or I better, you know, they're feeling nervous for me because I missed this 3 times, and they're starting to get like, I don't know, this guy doesn't seem that good, and oh, I'm losing them. You know, you have to. Some people, they're deaf to what the response from the audience is.
When you do comedy, what's something that you like to always keep in mind? Last question.
Okay.
Last question. Actually, 2 more questions.
All right, 2 more questions. Okay.
This is it.
All right.
When you do comedy, what do you like to do to keep yourself fresh?
Create a strong framework. Create a strong routine. So you know, if nothing happens, if there's no comic potential that happens in the moment.
Right.
Like nothing occurs. Like you know, there's really nothing you can build off of. Like no one says anything in the audience. There's nothing that happens unusual. There's really nothing to build off of. You know, you have a strong routine, right? But you're always looking to have the flexibility of going, I know I have this strong routine, but I'm also looking to have comic potential in the moment. I'm always looking for, is there anything funny happening?
Cool.
So you want to have the safety net of having a really good, you know these jokes are going to hit. I call them anchor jokes. You know these 3 or 4 jokes, when you get to them, are going to laugh because you've done them enough to have security in knowing these are my anchor jokes. But in between, you might go, okay, I'll get to the anchor joke, but I can kind of deviate a little bit, knowing that I'll have the safety of eventually getting back to this strong joke. So I could improv a little bit in that moment, but if it's not really happening or it's not really funny, then I'll swerve back to, but I loved like a situation I was on Sunday before I came here. It was this casual little sort of craft fair market with food booths, and they had a little stage.
Okay.
You know, maybe 50 or 60 seats. It was hot, and this little canopy, like a rinky-dinky little situation.
Yeah.
So I come out there, man. I'm like, I'm going to have fun. I want to just try to riff.
Right on.
And just riff with people. You know, I bring some kid up on stage. I don't know what he's going to do. So I saw a kid in the audience. He's like trying to flip a water bottle. I go, folks, we got a professional water bottle flipper out there. Come up here, young man. If you do it the first time, I'm gonna give you $5. He does it, and he goes, wait a minute. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Sir, I'm gonna bet you that your son can't do it. How much faith do you have in your kid? You don't even love that kid, do you? That's not even your kid, is it? He doesn't look anything like you. You know, he looks like Prince Charles. That's Prince Charles' kid. You know, whatever, just like going crazy. Just whatever I want to say. And if it's funny and working, I'll just keep at it. But if it's like, you know, but I usually have a good sense of who will play with me, and
Gotcha.
I don't care that much.
Gotcha.
I don't care, you know?
That's a good philosophy.
Well,
right?
it's like, you know, there's a good thing that Bernie Mac, the comedian, said.
Yeah.
And I like to say to myself, you know Bernie Mac?
Yeah?
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac.
Yeah, one time, I remember him saying, he'd come out on stage, he's like, let me tell you something up front. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Okay? No matter what, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You know, he's telling the audience, I ain't scared of you. I own this stage. I don't scare you motherfuckers. I don't care what you motherfuckers think. I don't scare you motherfuckers. I'm gonna do my bit. Look, I want you to know, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm like, so I have the same thing. I'm like, I'm not scared to be in front of the audience. I'm not scared to
Awesome.
try to be funny in the moment. I'm not scared. You know?
Yeah.
And you never want to act out of fear. Oh, what if this guy rips me off? What if this person thinks someone already did this? What if this?
People always think of that, you know?
But that's acting out of fear. That's just
Yeah,
fear-based thinking. And you never want to act out of fear. What if I don't get this gig? What if I don't run out of money? What if you know, this girl turns me down?
So don't act out of fear.
I
Never.
would ask this girl to go out with me, but what if she turns me down?
Right.
That's acting out of fear.
Yeah.
That's saying no to yourself. You never say no to yourself. A lot of people will say no to you. Oh, I'll never get that gig, so I won't even apply. No, they won't hire me,
Yeah.
so I won't even apply. You're saying no to yourself. You're acting out of fear. Like, oh, I don't want to buy that because I really want it, but it's expensive. What are you telling yourself? Gosh, money's hard to come by. I might run out.
Right.
Geez, I really can't have everything I want because what if I run out in the future?
Stop living through fear.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying to yourself, money's hard to get, that it's difficult. And I'm really a big believer in the power of the subconscious mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say you're smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you know it's bad, so every time you take a puff, you're telling your subconscious mind, my health doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's more important to indulge in my vices than really to be concerned about my health.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care that much if I get sick, because I know this is bad for me, but I'm doing it anyways, because I'm weak. I'm a weak person. I don't have no willpower. God, I wish I could stop these. But I really like them. but in your mind, you're just telling yourself, I'm weak, I'm powerless, I can't control myself.
That's the worst to have on stage, for sure.
Well, these are things that people tell their subconscious. So
Yeah.
if you're afraid of approaching a booker, like, oh God, I'm not good enough and they'll never hire me. There's many times where I didn't think they would hire me. Or I wasn't sure if I would get the job.
Mm-hmm.
But I got, you know, like this, I've been offered this festival that, you know, I turned it down, but I didn't want to do it. But I thought, you know, I don't think she'll take me as a solo. You know,
Yeah.
when she wrote me, do you have this period of time free? I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
And she's like, oh
Cool.
no, I love your solo act. I'm like, all right. But I didn't know that she would take me as a solo.
Mhm.
But I wasn't afraid for her not to take me as a solo.
Right.
But if you're always waiting for, it's like the whole thing about America's Got Talent. Everybody's like waiting for this sure thing. Like, oh, but you know, what if they make you look bad, or what if they keep you in a room locked up, and what if they you know, they make me do something I want to do, and you're like going, what are you waiting for, a perfect opportunity? You're waiting for somebody to go, look, you can do exactly what you want to do. How much time
Right.
do you want to do, Lucian? You want to do 5 minutes? Okay, do what you want to do.
That would be awesome.
And if you drop, don't worry, we'll edit it. We'll let you do it again.
Okay.
And we'll let
yeah.
you do it perfectly. No, you get on a show, a live TV show.
That's it.
It's like one try and done.
Mhm.
And maybe it's like, if you're on a movie set, they keep you waiting all day long. You got there at 6 in the morning. They don't use you till 1 in the afternoon.
Or maybe 1 in the morning.
Whatever it is. But if you're expecting show business to be perfect, or opportunities to be perfect, like I had this friend of mine, and he was telling me how broke he was. He's like, oh God, I'm so broke. So I go, look, you know, I'm coming out with this product.
Mhm.
I'd be glad to, when it comes out, give you a box of 100 for, you know, not for free, but I'll front them to you.
Yeah.
And if you sell them,
Okay.
you could make, you know, you could double the money, make $500, and if it works, you know, we can keep doing this thing. No, man, you know, I'm not really into performing anymore, and that's not really what I want to do. And I go, in my mind, I'm like, this is the universe making you an offer, giving you an opportunity, and you're saying, no, even though I'm broke, it's not really exactly what I want to do. So now you're waiting for the universe to not only answer your money problems, but answer them in a way that is exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you wanted to get on TV, you have to go, well, who's bringing variety acts on TV? Or Jimmy Kimmel?
You have to go get it.
Jimmy Fallon? Well, this American Got Talent seems like they're using variety. Yeah, but they're judging it. Maybe the judges won't like me. Ooh, that sounds like fear-based thinking. Yeah, then I hear that they keep you locked up for, because they want to try to create drama because it's kind of a reality show. All right, well, then wait around for that opportunity that you can do your act. I'm just in a perfect situation. Wait for that.
Waiting for never.
Well, I mean, maybe some people get lucky. Like some people, like I won't go on America's Got Talent or American Idol. A lot of singers, still don't go that route.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. But there's a lot to go that route who all of a sudden have great careers because they went that route. So it is possible to make it without America's Got Talent.
Oh, of course.
But you have to take advantage.
You're living proof.
Well, I was before America's Got Talent too, But it's also you have to take advantage of everything that's out there.
What has juggling done for you over all the years of performing? What's the gift that it's given back to you?
Well, I mean, obviously it's given me so much. I mean, it's pretty much given me everything. As far as when I was a kid, I left home at 17, and I got jobs like grocery store clerk and fry cook and worked in a hospital. Regular. I didn't mind working. I liked working. It was all right. I could work. I could work doing cooking, or I was okay. I could work. I knew I had a work ethic.
Right.
You could be $5 an hour. You want me to cook hamburgers? I could do it. But then, but it wasn't like I had a great life. It wasn't like I was making a lot of money. It wasn't like I was having opportunities to travel. It wasn't like I was having opportunities to meet celebrities. It wasn't like I was opportunities to get into a field where I could get recognition and sort of become somebody known in my field and win awards and become somebody of note in this small niche of juggling. So, it's allowed me to travel the world basically for free, or, have my expenses paid. It's allowed me to make some great friends. My partner Barry was the one who introduced me to my wife because they were working together at this thing. He thought we'd hit it off. So
Nice.
we went out to lunch, and obviously we got married, and together almost 20 years. Married 20 years, like 22 years together. So obviously, if I had not teamed up with Barry, I would not have met her, and she's one of the best things in my life, if not the best thing. So, and the experience. I was able to.
That's great.
I flew in a Learjet with Howie Mandel. I met President Reagan.
So
I
cool.
passed knives around John Wayne Bobbitt.
Wow.
I got to
Cool,
do a
man.
show for the sequestered O.J. Simpson jurors during O.J.'s first murder trial. I got to meet We got to tour with Robin Williams. I got to meet Tom Jones and Dean Martin.
Tour
Tony
with
Bennett.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, we were his opening act for over 7 years. But he only did sporadic dates. He did just a few dates.
So
it wasn't like 7 solid years. But he would do a movie, then he'd take a little time, do 3 or 4 college dates. Then maybe he would take another 4 or 5 months, do a couple dates here. So we probably did a nice, I don't know how many shows with him over the 7 years. But whenever he went out, he would take us because we really worked well. I remember, I'll tell you one story, then we're going to cut it.
That's
So-
it. You've
okay.
said enough already.
All right, well, I'll tell you what-
If they're still watching, that's awesome, man.
I don't care if anybody's watching. We got 4 views. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. But so we were on the Tonight Show, right?
Okay.
And Billy Crystal was watching. Billy Crystal saw us. He called his manager. He goes because he wanted a funny act that wasn't topical. He wanted another comedian because he didn't want anybody stepping on his toes. Like if another comic, then maybe they're talking about relationships, or they're talking about their dad or whatever.
Billy Crystal.
Yeah, Billy Crystal.
Okay, cool.
So he goes, "Oh, that's a funny act. It'd be funny, but obviously nothing about it is going to interfere with what I'm doing. But maybe it's a good warm up for the audience." Whatever. I don't know what he was thinking, but he calls his management, who was David Steiner, who also managed Robin Williams. So we opened our first gig after Tonight Show was a week in Atlantic City with Billy Crystal for $10,000. We split it, of course, but I'm saying we went from these like maybe $1,500 a week on the cruise ship, or maybe good weekends of Renaissance fairs. First gig, like Trump Castle, because I met Donald Trump. He came backstage after that gig, and so he recommended us to Robin Williams.
Wow.
And Robin Williams was doing this college. It was probably like 4,000 seats or something, pretty big college. So we get backstage. They go, we had Bobby McFerrin was opening for him before us. And this was before he was famous for "Don't Worry, Get Happy," which was, I don't know if you know that song. Don't worry,
Yeah.
be happy. Well, it was a pretty big hit. People started finding
great
Bobby
song.
McFerrin.
Great song.
But before that, he was just a guy doing these weird
I love that
vocal
song.
things, And often, so the manager says, look, sometimes they're so excited to see Robin that they'll start chanting. Like the opening act will be on.
Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
Robin.
And the opening act will be like 5 minutes into their act. Or he goes, and this happened to Bobby, maybe, I don't know, that's why you mentioned it, I think. I never saw it, but he said, look, it's happening. So if they start to chant, just give us what you can give us. You know, if it's 5 minutes, great. If it's 10 minutes, great. We'd love you to do the full 25, 30 minutes, because then we can have an intermission. You know, they can sell some stuff. But look, if it gets brutal out there, you know, we'll understand. If they start chanting, you can give us 10 minutes. We won't take an intermission. We'll go into the show. So that's what they tell us before we get out there.
Right.
So we're like, oh, okay. This could go horribly wrong. So Robin Williams introduces us. Like, he gets on the mic. He goes, you know, hey, crazy boys. Oh, I got friends from Russia. They're going to be here. Oh, the jugglers. Oh, juggling. Folks, we got a great act. You know, obviously Robin Williams, right? Mm-hmm. Come, so stay, because I guess he's trying maybe to, you know, these are my friends. He was just a nice guy, whatever. I thought it was a classy thing. So welcome, Raspyni Brothers. And he's in the wings. We're doing our act. You can hear him laughing. You can hear him laughing backstage. You know, Robin Williams. And we do our bit, we do our full act, you know. We connect really well with the audience, get a huge ovation at the end. They love it. They love it. And we come backstage, and everybody's just like really happy. Like, that really worked. And so that's why okay, one last story.
That's all.
This is it.
I'm not doing it.
I know.
You can stop right now.
One last story.
One last story.
So Howie Mandel is going on a tour of Canada, because he's Canadian.
Right.
So he's gonna do like a 2-week
He's
tour.
gonna do the
I don't know. He wasn't doing it at that time because he had burst a vessel in his eye.
Oh man.
Because of the pressure. So he used to put a glove over his head and blow it up.
Yeah, blow it up.
But he had stopped doing that. He didn't do that bit.
Oh my god.
He had stopped it before because he had burst a blood vessel in his eye.
Holy.
Before, not on the tour, but some other time. So he started taking that bit out.
Okay.
But he had all these other crazy props.
Yeah.
You know, really manic and all that stuff. So he's going to do a tour, a Learjet tour of Canada in a Learjet. I'm like, well, that sounds cool. And he has this opening act, John Panette. That's his opening act. But John Panette weighed about 350 pounds. He did a lot of jokes based on his weight. You know, he passed away last year at 50.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I never met him. Supposedly the sweetest guy in the world, but I never met him. And so they said John Panette cannot fit in the Learjet, but you guys, you weigh the same, and you're 2 people, so you can sit on other sides of the Learjet. You can sit here, and he can sit here. So John Panette could not go because he was too big, and so we were able to go. And at that time, we had got a good reputation as an opening act. So obviously, other comedians had heard or whatever. So we got the job because we weighed the same amount as 2 people as his other opening act. It was a great gig, so we would go, I think it started out in Michigan. So you would do the gig, and you would go to the Learjet at night. You'd fly to the next town at night. And so you'd take off into the stars, and he would play like Pink Floyd or something cool on the soundtrack, you know, in the Learjet. We'd always hear some cool music. And you'd be chatting. He had a really cool guy who went with him, this guy Rich Thurber, who was like his, you know, his Boy Friday or something, his production manager. This guy Nick Light, who was pretty. I think he was involved pretty well in a big agency. I forget exactly. I think his brother was really. He was a pretty good showbiz guy. There's 2 good guys, him and Nick, and we just had a blast. It was.
Sounds to me that's some awesome times. Thank you very much.
One last thing.
Oh, okay, we're not.
The Learjet would sometimes take off. And then the guy would level out, and we'd be weightless, and we'd float. You know how they do that?
Get out of here.
Yeah, because you take off really steep, then you
zero gravity style.
He would go up real steep,
okay,
and he'd level out, and we'd float. And I was able to do like a back flip.
Get out of here.
Get back into my seat before the plane lost it.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was totally cool. So you asked me what juggling has given me. It's all these wonderful experiences. And great friends.
Talks about
people
awesome
I met.
times.
I met great people, and I've met Lucian too.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with me.
Of course.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dan Holzman, check him out.
Yeah.
And do you want to plug your podcast?
Oh, sure. I do a podcast for jugglers. It's about jugglers. But I think it's interesting because I try to, you know, get interesting stories too. It's called Drop Everything, and it's on iTunes.
Cool. I'll put a link for it.
And
check
it's
it
also
out.
on the IJ website, juggle.org.
Awesome.
In the e-juggle section.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.